Next story of the day is about something else Trump is doing, prison reform. This has been a huge, first of all, it's what I wrote my senior thesis on. I was very, very interested in drug like arrests and how 50% of people in prisons at a certain time were non-violent drug offenders, if I remember right. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why are rapists getting off free and pedos and people who start wars, they get no time in jail? And people who sold weed get 20 years in prison. It doesn't make sense to me. I never liked that. So prison reform, I think, is an important thing. And Trump is the one to do it. I mean, we had 8 years of Obama. Didn't really do anything. He tried to do a little something about private prisons, but Trump overturned it. Bush didn't really do that much. Like, Trump is doing everything I've thought about for a while. Am I supposed to sit here and pretend like I don't see it just because I want $15 an hour minimum wage or whatever, which I don't want? I'm just saying, it's like people are like, no, he's not doing anything because I want to give all my money to the government with Bernie Sanders and act like it's gonna. No, this is how you do stuff. You don't give all your money to the government and give all the health industry to the government. You actually just do it. That's what America's about. I'm sorry, capitalism, obviously not perfect, but that's what it's about. I came from nothing. I came from, people who weren't making millions of dollars. And I'm doing well because I worked hard, and now people are giving me opportunities because I worked hard. That's what this country's about. Trump did prison reform. It's a great video. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to include it right now so you can watch this 6 or 7 minute video.
Gregory. Hi, Gregory. Mine is real short. 2 months ago, I was in a prison cell, and I'm in the White House. Let's continue to make America great again. That's great. And you know what? The people of our country feel the same way as absolutely. They do. They feel it. Yvonne Fountain. Yvonne, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Yvonne. Oh, she wants to come up? Come up, Yvonne. She wants to come up. Come on, Yvonne.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
I love
Thank you. I just want to say I am so grateful. First, I want to thank God because God got me through a lot in prison. Yes, I went to prison. I did my time. I was good the whole time. I worked. I stayed out of trouble. I programmed. I did what I need to do. When y'all passed this, I could have fell through the floor because I had been waiting for years and years for them to pass that mandatory minimum. That's a hard thing. But I'm grateful. I thank everybody who put their hands in it, all the hard work. And I really thank you for signing that bill. Yeah. So when you signed it, I could have went through the floor. Thank you so
it. April Johnson. April, come up. Come on.
I just want to thank you for signing the bill. I got it on compassionate release for my daughter. And because of that, I'll be able to spend what time she has left with her.
Take your time, man.
She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in September, and they have since gave her a grave prognosis. And because of the bill and the First Step Act, I'll be able to spend the rest of her time with her. And I thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. You take care. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Catherine Toney. Catherine, I thought that was you, Catherine. Come.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank God. Then I would like to thank the president for signing the bill. I also would like to thank Jared. I'd like to thank Van Jones, Jessica Jackson, Cut 50, Amy Pova. I would also like to thank Harry Jackson, Bishop Harry Jackson. He's been great through my release. I would like to thank Jared for calling corporate of Walmart, getting me my first job in 16 years. I would also like to thank Becky, which is here. Ms. Becky, could you please stand up, Becky Settler? She has worked with me since I've left the White House the first time, getting me this job at Walmart, which Jared reached out to them. And I just want to thank everybody, both parties. And what I have to say is, I feel as if the First Step Act need to be fully implemented, and it needs to be fully funded in order to make this step work. It's so many people that we left behind that needs the same opportunity that we on this stage have. And if they had the full funding that this step need, it would be many of us on this stage. So I just want to thank everyone, and God bless you all.
And a man who's actually become much more famous than me or anybody else in the room. His story is an incredible story, and it's been inspiring. And I'd just like to introduce quickly Matthew Charles. Matthew. Come here, Matthew.
Thank you. I'm truly humbled. Nobody can be more famous than you. I'm truly humbled. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Jared, the president, thank that you were insisting about getting this bill passed and signed. When it stalled in the Senate, and you informed Mitch McConnell you wanted to actually do this before that Senate and Congress went out. I always remember that. So I'm just humble, thankful. In all, I'm still pleasantly overwhelmed, and it's an experience that I never forget. Thank you.
And I want to thank you all, and a woman who I think is a terrific woman and spokesman, and I've watched her, and we helped her a little bit. She was in jail for a long time, and she had a long time to go. And I'd like to say, is Alice here? Where's Alice? Come up here, Alice. Will you please? Alice Johnson. Alice Johnson, come.
Thank you so much. First of all, everyone knows me. I have to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first. And I want to thank our incredible president, President Donald John Trump. I just told him I finally get a chance to hug you and properly say thank you for believing in me. And I'd like to thank all of the advocates who have fought so long for me, who have been working behind the scenes trying to magnify my case. I thank everyone in this room for your prayers. And I also want to thank the media for being so kind to me, because you have really helped magnify my story. But thank you. I'm an example of a woman who has been given a second chance in life. There are so many others who deserve that same second chance. And so I'm grateful for platforms like this, for events like this today, that magnifies that need. Because somehow, when you see a face, when you see another human being like me, who has been separated from their family almost 22 years. That changes things, that changes heart. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Alice. You know, when you said, Alice said, I want to also thank the media, I sort of bent over and said, are you sure? She said, and I do too. I think it's fantastic. That's great. And a couple of people, Van Jones, please stand up, please. He goes after me on occasion. But you know what? He came together with this one. We all agree this is very, very strong. There's a great bonding, and we appreciate it. You worked very hard on it, along with Ivanka. Please stand up. Ivanka. And Charlie Kirk, stand up real fast. And Matt Schlapp, stand up real fast. You guys. Now, that's an example of seriously conservative people. And they're totally into it, right? I mean, so many, so many. So to recognize the dignity and the potential of every American, I've designated April as the Second Chance Month, and we have a beautiful certificate from As a result of our incredible economic turnaround. We had a big stock market day today, so that makes it even better, but a big day. There's never been a better time for those who need a second chance and they get a fresh start. It's so incredible to see people coming out of prison. They've done, historically, as you know, very, very poorly, oftentimes having to go back because they come out, they can't get a job. Nobody wants to hire them because they were in prison. And because the economy is so strong, they're getting an incredible start, as we say. And it's also maybe even more incredible to see what the people that are doing the hiring are saying. They are in love with what's happening. They're hiring people that are great, and they're letting everyone know it. Everyone know it. Pretty incredible. So the good economy is really giving them.
Yeah, sure.
He didn't know about it.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody here on Capitol Hill for finally getting this bill pushed through. I mean, I know there was a lot of work involved in it, and I would like to say thank you to the organizations that got me here, like Cut 50 and Amy Can Do. Them people, I mean, they've done so much for me. It's unbelievable how much they've done for me. I never thought this bill would pass, and coming home and finding places like Boone Lumber Company that took a chance on me right out the door. I mean, no problem. Come on to work. You know, I can't thank everybody enough for that. But more than just thanking everybody for these things, there's more that can be done. I left so many people behind in prison doing 40 and 50 years for nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. I mean, should I have went to prison? Absolutely. I committed a crime, but for 20 years for the small things that I done, I should have definitely went to prison. And I don't know what to say. I think there should be a second step. That's what I say. There should be a second step.
Now, could I have said it better than that? His statement about so many people, and that's true. So many people are there that really are serving 40 and 50-year sentences for things that you wouldn't even believe, that some people wouldn't even be going to prison for today. So I just think that was incredible. And worry, I'm going to ask a couple of, but none of them know they're going to speak, and that makes it, that usually produces a much better speech. We're also proud to have with us on stage 5 more Americans who have been released under the First Step Act and transformed their lives. And that includes Gregory Allen. Where's Gregory? Gregory. Hi, Gregory.
If you're not on YouTube, or now this is after the video, just back on Facebook, yeah, he talked to like 6 or 7 people who got out of prison. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but I'm guessing Trump saw that they had a clean record. They studied in jail. They proved that they were going to work, and he integrated them back into the workforce in his good economy, as he would say, and got them out of prison. I mean, this is what Meek Mill wants. This is what Jay-Z talked about for a while. This is what all rappers talk about. You have them saying, don't talk to the White House. Don't talk to the White House. It's so, especially on the edge of what happened with Nipsey Hussle recently. I could talk about that in a different thing, but because there's a lot going into that. But in Chicago and other places, I'll just stick to that to not get too controversial. You have hundreds of black people, thousands of black people, thousands of Americans. I mean, drugs, crime, this horrible mindset, whatever race, religion, and gender you want to throw on it, I don't really care. People are suffering from a lot of things. Texting while driving and car accidents. You can say what you want about anything else. You're more likely to get in a car accident than anything else. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people dying. Car accidents, losing limbs, getting hurt. Opioids, heart disease, horrible work and workout ethics, health ethics, eating, diet. These are things that are killing millions upon tens of millions of people. It's like Trump does prison reform. That's the one thing that they talked about. That's the only, they never talk about all this other. There was a prison reform. Trump does it. Is he going to get a thank you? Is he going to get some respect? It's like, what do these people want? Is there anything that he won't do? He's even lowered drug prices, not through giving all drugs to the federal government like Bernie wants to do, although I think Bernie does do some good work with that stuff, works bipartisan, but it's like giving the whole health industry to the government's not the answer. It's not going to help anybody. This is how you do it. You just chop at it and get it done. And it's cool to see Trump actually being the prison reform president, and it's so obnoxious that nobody wants to give him credit, especially the people who've been talking about this for 10 years, because before I move on to the next segment, there's 2 types of people in this world. There's the Trump types who they do it. He talks a big game, but then he actually does it. And then there's the people who just talk about prison reform. There's people who talk about helping people. There's people who talk about being an activist. And it's like there's a lot of talkers out there. And there's a lot of people, their mouth sounds great, but when it comes to their actions, then they're promoting the same message that they act like they're trying to stop. It's like the rap community is well loved among people without fathers, and especially in inner city areas. And I know firsthand that they're idolizing these rappers. And a lot of rappers, not all of them, but a lot of them, they have a horrible, horrible message. And you could go into the 50s and 60s and 70s when many things were worse, but you can look at the mindset, and in many ways, it was actually better. In a weirder way, it shouldn't be. I'm not saying that everything was great then. Obviously, we've made social progress in some ways. But if you look at the mindset, the family staying together, even in some cases, income was actually higher decades ago. Families decades ago. I mean, you read articles from black leaders in the 50s and 60s, and even from George Washington to Booker T. Washington and such, like whoever you want to say, they all seemed wiser, smarter. I mean, MLK sounded nothing like modern day liberals. It's just like a lot of people talk, and then their actions actually crush the community that they claim to be solving. Me, I'm speaking to everybody. I don't care your race, religion, gender. You could stand up for who you want to stand up to. But if you're going to spend a decade talking about prison reform, I would love to see some rappers and athletes big up Donald Trump for doing what none of their leaders would ever do or could do. It's pretty dope. Fifth and final.